Hello. I'm actually going to move that out of the way. All right. Hello, hello, hello. We are live. This is amazing. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. All right. Oh my gosh. I love going live. I'm loving this more and more every single time. All right. We are live. Just making sure everything is set up and working. Give me a couple seconds here as we go live. All right. Gonna do something here. Make sure we're up and running. All right, cool. Says we're live. And you can hear that. Cool. Let's see. All right, cool. Looks like I am live. So one more step here. Hello, hello. I think we're going to test out the chat today too. So feel free to be so kind. And there should be a chat box in the lower right-hand corner or on the right side of the video. That's where I see it. So when you find it, check it out. And I'm going to go through here. All right. Yay, I got a wave. All right, awesome. Thank you. I'm going to try something out. So give me a second. I just thought of something. So let me try this out. Get this set up. All right. All right, we'll get started in just a second here. Oh my gosh, I love that little hand wave. That's awesome. All right. I think I got it. Okay. How's that? All right, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and rock and roll. We are ready to go. So, hello, 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 everybody. I hope that you're feeling brilliantly expansive today. If you're not feeling expansive, then buckle up. You're in the right place. I am Araceli Ware, and I'm here to empower you as a highly sensing human to find clarity and confidence in your workspaces and beyond. Before we get started, as a reminder, please like this video or subscribe to my channel, Highly Sensing Humans, if you like what you hear in this video, so I can keep supporting you on your journey. I would love to do that. So, what has been on my mind this week? What has been on my mind this week is the word thriving. And what it means to thrive as a highly sensing human. That is what I call empaths and intuitives. If you want to know why, check out some of my earlier videos. I talk a lot about how empaths and intuitives just have this deeper way of sensing and feeling the world around them, which is why, in short, I call empaths and intuitives highly sensing humans. So today I'm going to talk about 3 tips to thrive in 2025, specifically for empaths and intuitives, because I do think that being in a state of success and thriving for empaths and intuitives is in particularly, we have a unique scenario because of our heightened senses. It is unique to find thriving for us, right? So, what does it mean to be thrive? When you imagine thriving, thriving means to be successful, to be prosperous. But I'd like you to imagine what thriving looks like and feels like, right? So if you close your eyes for a minute and imagine yourself thriving, what do you see? Like when you see success, when you see thriving, how do you see yourself? How do you feel? How are you standing? How are you sitting? How do you present yourself? Are you standing tall? Are you confident in yourself? What's your energy feel like? What does it feel like when you imagine the state of success and thriving? Are you someone who is just really grounded and calm? Are you excited and joyous? Do you imagine happiness? What is it? And what is driving your success? What is in the driver's seat of that? How does your success happen? How do you own it? Right? When we hear the word thriving, or when you hear the word thriving, try to imagine that and embody that feeling. Here are 3 things that prevent empaths and intuitives, highly sensing humans, from thriving. There's 3 key things I'm going to talk about today. Number 1, you have yet to do the work to move past your own limiting beliefs. I'll expand on these in a minute. Number 2, you haven't set boundaries that protect you so you can get to be in that state of thriving. And the third thing that prevents intuitives and empaths from thriving is that you hold space for others from this chaotic state, operating from your limitations, having no boundaries. So, therefore, you are a sponge for the energy of others. Those are the 3 things we're going to talk about today, okay? So, for an empath or an intuitive looking to grow your success with these 3 things present, it's going to be challenging. Okay. And this is why it's going to be challenging. I'm going to move this so I can see this over here. Okay, cool. It's going to be challenging for empaths and intuitives looking to grow your success with these three things present. And this is why. Your limiting beliefs are holding you back from standing in your confidence, right? So if you haven't worked past your limiting beliefs, you're not standing fully in your confidence everywhere. Maybe you have experiences of your confidence. Maybe there's certain environments where you're feeling empowered and confident. But if you really haven't worked through your limiting beliefs, it's not going to be fully present in everything that you do and everywhere you go, right? It's also going to limit your success if you lack boundaries, because this is going to keep you in your state of limitation. So these 3 things are going to go hand in hand, and we're going to talk today about how they go hand in hand, right? So if you're not removing your limiting beliefs and moving into your expansiveness, then you're also lacking boundaries because you're not protecting that state of expansiveness, your natural state. And when you hold space for others, you're also absorbing their energy because you yourself are in a state where you experience swirl, chaos, foggy headedness, uncertainty. So, here's what you need to understand about these three things preventing you from thriving. Let's dive into limiting beliefs. So, we are born expansive. When we are born, all we know is our true nature, and it is an expansive nature. That is the first thing that I want to really convey here is that the moment we're born, we are expansive, and it is natural for us to just know no limitations. That's why we love being around babies. A lot of times when I see a baby, you just see this like they're almost glowing, right? There's just so much joy. They just have no concept of limitedness. So, we are taught to be less like our true selves, less like our expansive nature, and more like what society defines as successful. That is learned. We are taught it. Here's the thing, you can move from your limited state back to your true self, your authentic state. We have to unlearn it. You have to unlearn it to move past your limitations. And this starts with recognizing your limited state. That's the number one step, right? Recognizing what are my limitations? How did I even learn those? And a lot of times, for a lot of people, it's even just having the knowledge, the aha moment of, wait a minute, all of these limitations. So, examples of limited states are I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable. I am not worthy, right? I'm not worth that success. I'm not worth that promotion. Oh, I haven't worked hard enough, right? There's one. So I'd love to see in the comments what your limited state is, if any of those resonate with you. We can unlearn it though. You can unlearn these limitations. So, understanding that they're learned is number one, and starting to recognize what those limitations are is a really big part of that. And as we start learning our limited state, so let's say a limited state that you might have is I'm not worthy of that promotion. I haven't worked hard enough. Maybe I don't have enough training. I don't have enough certifications. Those are all limitations that, yes, we learn in our environments, but we adopt them. So if someone says, "Oh, let's say you're talking to somebody at work and you're like, or a friend, "Oh, I want to go for this big promotion. I think I'm ready for this thing." And what's the first thing out of their mouths? Well, what qualifies you? Well, did you get that certification? Well, how many years experience did you have? Do you have a master's degree? Right? I hear that so much. People moving into leadership roles and wanting to grow their success. I don't have a master's degree. I can't do it. Maybe I need to go back to college. And maybe you do, right? Maybe that's something that you decide. What I'm saying here, though, is make that decision from your expansive state, not from your limited state. So don't start by limiting yourself from the get go. So recognize that limitation and then feel into and realize that you can learn what it means to be your true natural self as you were born, your expansive state. Because if you do that, and if we take the example of, oh, I can't go out for that promotion. I can't apply for that job. I can't apply for that leadership position because I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough education. I don't have X, Y, and Z certification. Before you do that, think about, well, why do I want to go out for that? And how would I rock that? How would I just totally knock that out of the park? Start there because that's your true natural self. There's a reason you feel a tug for something bigger, a greater success, to thrive. So start in that space of, well, why is that exciting to me? What would I learn? What would I bring to that situation? Put aside those limitations while you do that brainstorm and really think about it so that you can get yourself back to your natural state. And what you do to break through your limitations is you practice that process so that you can reset those patterns. Most of us spent decades learning. That's just a reality. We start learning our limitations the minute we are told, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you're not good enough. Nope, can't try out for that team. You shouldn't do it. You haven't had enough training, right? So, your limiting beliefs, start recognizing them. Start calling yourself out on them and saying, why am I limiting myself? Where did that begin? Be curious about that. And is that necessary? What if I just put that aside for a minute? Even if it's just like a game at first, right? Because it can be very uncomfortable. That's the other thing to recognize here. We learn our limited and beliefs and our limitations over decades. So that feels comfortable. It's just a comfortable default conditional norm. So when we start asking ourselves these questions, don't be surprised if you don't get uncomfortable, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you don't get uncomfortable because it feels odd to kind of think differently and force yourself to think outside of the box on that because your comfort level is basically the thought pattern that you've created over and over and over. It's the automatic thought pattern in your brain. What you need to do is start undoing that thought pattern, and that's what's uncomfortable. It's like, this is a different pattern and it feels icky, right? It will feel icky. It's totally normal. So let's get to number 2. Second reason why empaths and intuitives struggle to thrive. You lack boundaries. Many of us are taught that our boundaries are bad, right? Be nice, don't hurt anyone, be busy, be a good student. This is what good looks like. This goes hand in hand with our limitations. When we give in to a limitation that we are being asked to conform to, we give up our boundary. We give up the boundary that is honoring who we are at our core. Okay? So don't give up that boundary. Start recognizing that. I have to be a good student. You have to be hardworking. Dedicate yourself tirelessly to your work to gain success. Oh, in order to be successful, here's the limitation. In order to be successful, I have to work harder or I need more schooling. So I have to give up the boundary of my time. And just think about what other boundaries you compromise when you do that. Something gives because you're spending more time doing whatever it is that you think you need to do in order to be successful. So, is it sleep that's a boundary that you're giving up? Is it quality time with your family? Is it quality time with yourself? Those are boundaries that you're allowing to be encroached upon in order to dedicate yourself tirelessly to your work to gain success, right? We're also told things like get married, have kids. None of these things takes what you need to thrive into consideration. They're all prescriptive. It's a prescription of what you should be, what you're told is success. So, in order to set boundaries, you have to learn what makes you expansive first. This is why removing your limiting beliefs is the first step because you got to remove those limiting beliefs to understand your own expansive state, your natural state, and start practicing it. Once we understand our true nature and our own expansiveness, then you start thinking about what boundaries need to be in place to honor my expansiveness. Now that I know what makes me expansive, I'm expansive because, right? This is you saying this to you. You are expansive because you have this natural ability, X, Y, and Z. For me, what I learned about myself when I went through this process is I'm expansive because I have this natural ability to connect with others. I'm kind. I truly care about the well being of others. I'm loyal. I have great ideas. I am great at creating a good plan and executing on it. Those are all examples of my expansiveness. The boundaries I need to have in place to maintain those things about myself are the things that I had to learn, and they're things that you can learn about yourself as well. You have to ask yourself one layer at a time, though. For example, for me, what helps me maintain my caring and kind nature? I really, really like supporting and helping people who are also kind and caring. So, one of my boundaries is supporting people who aren't kind to others. That impedes on my ability to be kind and caring because I start getting frustrated with that, right? So, in that situation, I have to step back and set a boundary. I only get to go this far with this individual if they're not kind and caring. And my relationship with them is probably one that keeps them at a distance, that honors both of our spaces. I don't get to intervene on who they are, and I get to continue being who I am. See how that works? So I set that boundary. You get to be over there and I get to be over here because we you conflict with my expansiveness and what makes me the thing that I appreciate about my journey in this world. So once you find that thing, it's not bad to set boundaries. It's more like positioning it in a way that helps you understand, oh, I am doing this to honor myself so that I can be fully in my own expansiveness, in my own light. And I'm honoring that. That's what a boundary is. All right. Number 3. This is my favorite one and probably one of the most important ones for empaths and intuitives, highly sensing humans. The other 2 were building blocks to this third one. We hold space for others. You hold space. If you're an empath and intuitive, you hold space for others. If you haven't addressed your limiting beliefs and you haven't set boundaries, then you're holding space for others in a chaotic state. And what does holding space mean? Holding space means you're likely that person that listens to people a lot. You are the go to person for advice, and you are told that you have incredible wisdom. Empaths and intuitives, you're masters at holding space for others. It's what you do. You know, you feel, you listen, you help. You make it easier for people to open up and articulate what it is that they're feeling because you're great at reflecting it back to them. The challenge is if you're living in a space where your limiting beliefs control you and you have no boundaries, then it's one person who is in their limiting beliefs holding space for another person who is operating from the same limiting space. The reason this is important is because as you hold space for others, you are creating a container of energy. And in that space, there is energy being exchanged between you as the person holding space and that person who is seeking to be honored and seen and listened to. This is where empaths and intuitives become a sponge for others. Without that firm understanding of your expansiveness and your boundaries, you're just absorbing all of that energy and bringing it into yourself. And this is where obtaining success becomes a bit more challenging for you in those states of limitation and no boundaries, because there's a lot of people on the planet who are working hard towards success while living in their own limitations and without boundaries. But as a highly sensing human, you have the added bonus of absorbing the energy of others and carrying it with you if you don't do that work, which leads to setting energy boundaries. How can you be successful if you're carrying all of the chaotic energy of others, right? So in one moment, you're holding space for someone, and then the next, you're trying to perform in this goal or this area where you want to succeed. Maybe it's a promotion. Doing that though, without that clearing of that energy and those boundaries is really hard though, because inside you're going to be carrying all of that anxiety, all of that stress, that frustration, because you haven't done the work of grounding yourself. That's why it becomes harder. So, this third step is really, really important because as an empath or intuitive, you're holding space without even realizing it. So, you're absorbing more energy than you realize, likely. You know what I mean? You're standing in the grocery store line or somewhere out in public, someone divulges their entire life story to you in 5 minutes, even though you were avoiding eye contact because it happens all the time, right? They did what they had to do to get your attention because they knew that you could intuitively, right? They don't know they're being intuitive, but they knew that you could reflect back to them what they needed in that moment. Oh, there you have it. I hope that this was really helpful and served you well today. Three things that can help you move from a state of uncertainty, chaos, anxiety, frustration, fear, limited growth, limited success, and move into a state where you are thriving, empowered, confident, and successful. Just a reminder, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. If this content supported you well, like the video. And if you do want to move into thriving in your success even more, you're going to want to check out my newsletter. Sign up to receive that by clicking the link in the description of this video or post in the comments newsletter, please. And I'll be happy to get that link over to you. I really enjoyed my time here with you all today. I will see you next time. Namaste, sweet souls. Bye bye.